starting 11s. Swansea make no changes from their last outing against Bristol City. Cardiff have 3 changes from the game against Rotherham. Romain Sawyers and Marlon Romeo were on international break, so they are on the bench, and Atete suffered an injury in that game, so he is out. Joe Rouse is back as captain. Shea Ojo and Andy Binamota make the starting 11. Keeping their places, we have Ryan Alsop, Callum O'Dowda, Mark McGuinness, Ryan Wintle, Cedric Kipray, Perry NG, Sori Kaba and Jaden Philogene. JP, what do you make of that starting 11? 3 changes.
It's a really interesting one, Ali. I think it's a little bit, I think Romain Sawyers would have played if he wasn't maybe late returning from the international break, and probably Marlon Romeo falls into that camp as well. But the Romeo one is a little bit more interesting for me. I think Jaden Philogene might have played a right wing back. I assume City is starting with wing backs, and Jaden Philogene will play from the right hand side. And I think it's his job to force Ryan Manning back, who's the Swansea left back. Ryan Manning's a very good player, but I think Jaden Philogene, Sabri Lamouchi's trying to fight fire with fire here, and he said to Jaden Philogene, you're going to force back their attacking left back. Swansea in Harry Darling have got a makeshift right back on the other side. Callum O'Dowda can get at him, and then I think Rinomota and Rawls are going to be asked to play against Grimes and Walsh and just stop them having easy possession of the ball. So I think this is another sign that Cardiff City have a manager now, Ali, not a young coach learning their game. It's a manager that's going out with a plan to try and disrupt Swansea, and I really like the team lineup today.
Yeah, and they'll be going into today's game with confidence. We know what happened against Rotherham with the game being suspended, but up until that point, Cardiff were playing well, they were 1-0 up, and they will take confidence from that.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't there. I was actually in Belfast listening to Ash commentate on it, and it sounded like Cardiff's perhaps most complete performance under Sabri Lamouchi. It's a shame it was called off. We'll have to do it again, but these things happen in football. But absolutely, take confidence from it. You can take confidence from the whole of Sabri Lamouchi's reign so far. I think Jason Perry said it a couple of weeks ago in a game. I was listening to him commentate on it. Cardiff go into every game with a plan now. They might tweak it for the opponent they're playing, but you can see there's a structure, there's a way of playing, there's a way to nullify your opponent and then hurt your opponent. And I think Shea Ojo perhaps in the 10 today, Philogene from the right-hand side. That's how Cardiff are going to look to cause Swansea trouble. So it's going to be a tough game. It's a South Wales derby. But I feel a lot better about Cardiff City in this South Wales derby than I have for a while.
Yeah, there does seem to be a different feel going into these recent games, especially at home with their recent great home run.
It is, and you needed that, and I think characters in the dugout really help, and I've said on commentary a few times, it's almost entertainment value in itself watching Sabri Lamouchi and Sol Bamba in their technical area. They kick every ball, they head every ball, they're constantly in conversation with the other coaches there. They're constantly trying to find ways to get that inch gain in the match, and I think the fans are responding to that passion. It's not a young coach in there that maybe is trying to play it cool. There's an experienced manager who really has taken the temperature of the Cardiff fans. Sol Bamba's a legend as well, and it's almost like the fans and the manager and therefore the players are as one right now, and that gives everyone a lift going into Derby Day, because I think we've been a bit naive, a little bit not weak, but a little bit quiet going into Derby days. I don't think that'll be the case today, and I think almost 32,000 people at Cardiff City Stadium will roar this team on.
Yeah, and an unbelievable turnout today. That's what it should be, especially for these South Wales derby games.
Absolutely.
The fans need to get behind the team.
They do. We might get behind them in the commentary arch. You and I were talking off camera. Absolute respect for Swansea, but for the next 90 minutes, don't like Swansea. It's all about winning, and the crowd is going to play a huge part. Sabri Lamouchi said it yesterday or the day before in his press conference. Fire on the outside, ice in the inside. We were good for 7 minutes at the Swansea.com stadium back in October, and then Callum Robinson had a moment that he would regret. Cardiff have to play with level heads today, but embrace the passion. Don't walk away from it. Don't say it's just another game, because it's not. It's not for me. It's not for you. It's not for Ash. You'll be joining you in a second. It's not for the 32,000 people here. Let's go and win this game. Yeah,
and you say, it's not just another game. I think the players realise that now, maybe more so than back in October, which is important.
Well, I think Sol Bamba's key to that. He was before the seven-side derby. I think he said something like, derbies are for winning, not just for playing in. I'm sure he said something like that today. we look forward to hopefully winning the game, Ali.
Fingers crossed. Well, we did hear from Sabri Lamucci, and he gave us his thoughts on today's derby.
It will be a big game. It will be a tough game. They are not so far to us. They concede a lot, but they score a lot. You will not find a team in the league to play more passes than them. The way they play is very open, very with a possession, good combination, movement. Will be tough. Will be a derby game. I know how the game is important for our fans, for the club, for our players. So I know that. But in reality, is 3 points really important for us in our situation. For many reasons, Cardiff fans want to win this game because we want to be safe as soon as possible, because we play against our biggest rival. For this kind of reason, we need to manage the game in the best way. We need to be smart, clever, and united, compact, and to try to do our best, like we try the precedent games in our stadium. We must be on fire outside, but Iceman inside, or just to not do a bad attitude or wrong things to finalize the team. Each game is different, especially in a derby. I know the stadium will be full. A lot of people, they are waiting this game with passion. So my player, they need to play this game with passion too, but to be smart and clever, because we will play a good team. But in our situation, we must to think before to do. The consequence can be absolutely disastrous for all of us. So we must be clever and to play the best performance we can.
Welcome back. Ash has joined me, and we're going to focus a little bit on the Swansea team now. As we mentioned at the start, they've made no changes from their last outing, which was successful against Bristol City, so they're sticking with that diamond formation.
It's a little bit annoying, isn't it? You know, you look back at the events of that weekend before the international break. Us 1 up at Rotherham, playing really, really well. Swansea playing a day later, could have put some pressure on them, could have potentially moved above them today with a win, and then they go and pull one out of the bag against a really underpowered Bristol City side and comfortably beat them by 2 goals to 0. I've got a lot of Bristol City supporting fans living that side of the Severn where I am, and I was really annoyed with them, you know, they couldn't do us a favour there in the afternoon. It would have really put an extra impetus in this game if the narrative had been we could go and move above them. But yeah, it was a much needed win for Swansea. You know, that's just their 4th win since beating us in the reverse fixture in October. It's been that difficult for them. A team that, coming out of that Derby Day win at their place, they were looking really set for a playoff push. Things have really fallen apart. So it was annoying. Nothing you can do about it. You know, we're going to have to go to Rotherham again in April and play for those points again. But obviously, all attention on this afternoon. You've spoken about the team selection there. It's not through choice either. You know, he's got players available to him coming back from injury now. Jay Fulton was suspended last game out. He was back in contention for this game. He's decided to leave him on the bench. Sticking with Liam Walsh in the middle of the park, and I think a lot of that will be to try and insert that extra element of control and give somebody alongside Matt Grimes to maybe take some of the burden off him a little bit, because I like Fulton, he gets amongst things. He's certainly what Cardiff would opt for in the middle of the park in a derby. Russell Martin sees football very differently sometimes, and he's gone with that. And the other one I'm surprised by is Ollie Cooper, obviously off the back of that Welsh debut in the international break, and he's been left on the bench. He's available again. Joe Allen's available again. I'm not so surprised that he hasn't been thrown straight back in, but Ollie Cooper, I thought he might have been a little bit more pragmatic. Russell Martin put him in maybe at the expense of Ncham playing off that left-hand side, or maybe instead of Luke Cundle, because Cooper has that Derby Day experience, of course, a goal scorer in the reverse fixture.
Yeah, and obviously talking about the table, Cardiff still in 21st, Swansea in 16th. It's not really how it is with the suspension of the last game for the Bluebirds. but the away form for Swansea recently has not been good.
I mean, no, their form in general has not been good. You know, they've really struggled for results, hence the frustration with that Bristol City home win. They've struggled at home for a couple of years, as you said. Their away form's been pretty poor this season. They're not struggling for goals. That's the thing that you need to point out. They certainly don't struggle for goals at this stadium. We know the recent record here: 15-1 and an aggregate score in the last 8 games, home and away. You know, Cardiff have struggled 4 goals in this fixture. Swansea really haven't, and they're not struggling for goals in the Championship at the moment. Joel Pirro probably going to play off the right-hand side this afternoon. Up there with Liam Cullen. He's got 14 goals for the season. He's staring down another 20 goals season. If he were to do that, he'd be the first Swansea striker to put together back-to-back 20-goal seasons since 08-09 when Jason Scotland did it, which really puts into perspective how well he's done. And he's got 2 goals in his last 3 games, so he is coming into this one, his form. And we know from games gone by against them that he's a dangerous character.
In your opinion, are the Bluebirds going to have to start strong, try and grab a goal early?
We certainly don't want to concede early. We've been guilty of that in the past, and we've found significant different ways to shoot ourselves in the foot in this fixture in recent seasons. We're either conceded very early, or got our shape completely wrong from the start, or ill-discipline has let us down. You know, you look at the Callum Robertson red card earlier in the season, but you think back at, a decade or so ago, you think of the sending off of Stephen McPhail twice in consecutive games in this fixture. Ill-discipline has really let us down, and I think that's the interesting thing for me is the conundrum of putting Joe Rolls back in this afternoon. He is one of the very few players with experience of this fixture in the squad. He is the club captain. He also has a red card in this fixture. It was the game behind closed doors, which he can mitigate, but he's one of those who have lost their head a little bit in the past in this fixture, and you just hope that the extra gravitas of wearing that armband will just calm Joe down a little bit. But I think it's annoying, and it will be annoying for Sabri that Romain Sawyers and Marlon Romeo were only able to arrive back in the country quite late on yesterday. Didn't give them a fair chance to be available for this afternoon, but at the same time, I think the legs that Rolls and Renamotta could provide, or will provide, to the middle of this park against a team who we know like to control the tempo of the game, it could be vital.
And I do think there's been a change in the vibe in the camp between the players about how much this match actually means. It's not just another match, and they know that.
Breathing at the moment because the noise is so high.
Loud, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right, and I overhear John, talking about Sol Bamba's presence and what he brings to a squad. And ironically, Sol Bamba never played in the South Wales derby, but he knows what it means to play big games for this football club. Regardless, he sets a precedent in that dressing room, and he sets levels and he sets expectations. And Sabri Lamouchi is no different. He's a manager the calibre of which, in terms of his playing career, this club have rarely had. So he'll be calm about it, I think, but I think he'll be very different behind closed doors than the controlled manner that we've seen in front of the cameras in recent days, where he's been downplaying things a little bit, but he knows exactly what it means to play in these type of games, around the world, and he'll be laying the law down in that dressing room before the game.
And we did mention how loud it is in the stadium. How good is that to see so many fans turning out today?
It's seldom been the case in recent seasons, and there are huge mitigating factors for that. Look, the players haven't played at a level that has attracted transient fans who might not be committed to coming week in, week out, but will be drawn in for fixtures, and the players haven't done a good enough job of getting those fans back in through the door. They've turned up here this afternoon. We've had opportunities like this in recent seasons, and we haven't performed for them then when the fans have turned up. The fans have a part to play this afternoon, but certainly so do the players if they want this to turn out in a couple of games again. That Sunderland game on Easter Monday, there's another opportunity there for another big crowd to come through the doors. There's some big games to come this season. This could be a turning point.
Yeah, and winning a game like this will be a turning point for the players, for the fans, for the whole club in general.
Undoubtedly. You've got 7 days to really set a marker for this season. Blackpool on Friday will be massive. They've lost this morning by 3-1. That's going to be huge. So back-to-back wins against Swansea and Blackpool goes a huge way to putting yourself safe.
Yeah, and so we're expecting a good game today.
I don't know what to expect anymore from this fixture, I'll be honest. You know, Cardiff have shown in recent weeks that they are able, in moments, to control games of football. Swansea have proved that for years. I wouldn't like to say.
Put you on the spot there. Well, the game is just around the corner. As we've said, it means so much to the club, so much to the fans, and we caught up with some of the players during the week, and they told us just what it means to them.
It's a great feeling winning against Bristol. Obviously all the boys enjoyed it and the fans as well, and it was like I say, a great feeling in the stadium and in the change room after, so we're hoping to replicate that against Swansea, and hopefully we can do that.
Any derby to win is massive, and especially where we are at the table at the minute. 3 points is, you know, huge for us. And yeah, hopefully we can take that into obviously the derby on Saturday, and yeah, get another 3 points in a derby this season.
I can't wait for that game, you know, because obviously we lost the other game, and we were playing with 10 men, so we can't wait for the revenge tomorrow. We all focus. We've been focused the whole week. You know, we've been training hard, and I think it's a mentality thing. You know, it's a derby. It's a different approach to the game, really. So everyone's ready.
I think it's massive for us. Well, not only for us as well, it's for the fans. It means a lot to everyone. We know that. So for us to get a result would be massive for everyone.
Obviously, it's not gone our way the past few meetings against Swansea, but we're more determined than ever. As you can see on the training pitch this week, I've only been in for obviously today, and you can see all the lads are on it, as we are most weeks, to be fair. But you always know when Swansea's coming up on Saturday. It's such a big game, you know, obviously for the fans and everything. So yeah, we're going into the game confident, and hopefully, like I said, we can get them 3 points.
We've had the break, so it's just been about the lads that are here getting the good training in. But today we've been able to work on some things. We've got all the lads back now, which is good. So we're working on our shape and making sure that we've got a good game plan going into the game. And yeah, just making sure that all the boys are ready physically and mentally for the game.
For me especially, I like to be the leader, have a part in the game. Everyone's different. I like to speak and talk, others don't. But everyone knows how important it is, so if I could help the lads in any way, it'd be great. It's
a proud, obviously, moment for me leading the team out in any derby, in any game really, but these games are obviously special, like I say, especially when you win. So hopefully we can do that on Saturday, and it'll be a great moment for me, for everyone really. So yeah, just looking forward to it.
I heard today coming in how many tickets have been sold, and I can imagine the atmosphere, what it's going to be like there. So hopefully we can give something to them, because we owe them a lot, you know, the past few meetings. And yeah, hopefully an early goal, or even if it's a last minute winner, hopefully we can give something back to them.
I've seen that there have been 25,000 tickets sold already. It gives us a big boost, obviously. So we can't wait to go there and see the fans go mental.
They're the catalyst for us to kick on if there's a dry spell in the game, and then obviously the lead up to it as well, just building a bit of atmosphere. It helps us more than they know really, so hopefully they'll be in full voice on Saturday.
You've seen the numbers that we're selling ticket-wise, amazing. The atmosphere is going to be great, so we're looking forward to that, and they can be a massive help for us. You know, stick with us when times are hard, but also get right behind us when we're attacking and trying to take the game to them. So yeah, they've got a massive part to play, and we'll need them on Saturday, and hopefully we can give them plenty to shout about.
Top 5 in association with the Big Yellow Self-Storage Company.
Opportunity there. 7.5 minutes gone. Volks launches it into the area. It cuts off somebody, and it's loose. It's a good save by Woodman. Aidan Flint! City lead in the derby!
Well, Cardiff just managed to flood blue jerseys around that second ball. It's a marvellous save from Freddie Woodman, and there's nothing he can do to pick himself back up to deny Flint following up.
And it comes, high across goal, heading down in by Stephen Hawker, it's 1-0!
Well, you can't say the ball's been coming, but Cardiff will certainly be the better team in this second half. They've lost possession, much like Swansea love to do, and they've hemmed Swansea right in to their half. They haven't allowed them out, they've kept up the pressure, and in the end, a goal has come. evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV.
What a finish, what a goal!
Good afternoon, welcome to Cardiff City TV, welcome to the Cardiff City Stadium. It might be April Fool's Day, but this fixture is no joke at any season, certainly not this afternoon. The second South Wales derby of the campaign, and Cardiff looking to halt a quite hideous recent run in this fixture at home to Swansea City. 364 days, a year tomorrow to the day, since Cardiff suffered the most painful of home defeats to their bitter rivals here by 4-0, surrendering the first league double in a history, long history of this fixture. However, once again, it is a new regime here at Cardiff City taking us into this fixture, and Sabri Ramushi, ably assisted by Sol Bamba, is ensuring that there's a very different feel around the camp 12 months later. The league table could have read very differently had the half-time deluge shortage of ground staff at Rotherham not brought City's last game to a halt after 47 and a half minutes, during which Cardiff played some of their best football of the season. Yet they will have to go again at Rotherham later this month. 8 fixtures on the calendar for April, this the first, and Cardiff have 7 days against Swansea City this afternoon and Blackpool upcoming on Good Friday to turn their season around. We are ready. 2 teams awaiting to emerge. Cardiff looking for a first home win in this fixture since November 2013. And they are being led out by captain Joe Rolls, and for Swansea City, Matt Grimes. One thing that should be fairly obvious if you're joining us here this afternoon is the deafening noise around the bowl of this stadium. It is a bumper crowd. It's great to see, and it will be much needed this afternoon as these 2 storied, bitter near neighbours get set to do battle. In terms of team news for the Bluebirds, there are changes. 3 from the game at Rotherham. In comes captain Joe Rolls. He's joined in the middle of the park by Andy Rinamotta and also Shea Ojo, who was a substitute at the New York Stadium. Out go Keon Atete, injured on that afternoon, and also Marlon Romeo and Romain Sawyers, who both arrived back late yesterday from international duty. For Swansea City, they remain unchanged despite some options available to them that weren't before that Bristol City win a fortnight ago. That means Luke Hundle keeps his place in the number 10 role, despite Ollie Cooper, now a Welsh international, being available. Jay Fulton signed a new contract in the week, however, he has to settle for a place on the bench as well. Liam Walsh keeps his place in the middle of the park alongside captain Matt Grimes. Joel Pirot, top scorer with 14 goals, will play nominally off the right-hand side with youngster Liam Cullen in attack also. The interesting one for me, as we're joined by Connor Pearce, is a Harry Darling, a right-footed centre-half. Connor continues to play at right-back, and as a result, thank goodness that Callum O'Dowda is fit.
Yeah, exactly. Such a key player, isn't he? Callum O'Dowda, so good to have him in the starting 11 after a mixed international break for him. Goal, but then missed out on a second game in Ireland's break. What a big opportunity this is, as we all know what happened here last year under Steve Morrison.
Well,
the impact that it had on the rest of the season as well. We need this to be a catalyst and a springboard now for 9 more massive, massive games.
Quite the atmosphere here before kick-off at the Cardiff City Stadium. It will be the visitors to get us underway. Rare that we get 3 p.m. Saturday kickoffs in